Good morning, my beautiful viewers on E360. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I am not in New Zealand. I am in New Zealand. I'm not in South Africa. So I am pretty much in most of your future. So how are you feeling? I've got amazing guests. They're going to blow your socks away. Not off, away. So our beautiful show is called Reflection. We're going to talk about reflection. What does reflection means for you? I've got this amazing quote. Reflection is the bridge between experience and growth. How are your experience and how are your growth? Reflection for me is very powerful because I can see where, if I have put a goal down, how did I accomplish it? Did I accomplish it? And it gives me the courage to keep on doing what I am doing. I am going to start with a new project, Soul of a Diamond, Tanzanite Legends. So that will be my book project number 2. And reflecting on book number or project number 1, Soul of a Diamond, Diamond Beauties Forever. The success we got out of everything that I have put down there, and then how the experience for each and every lady was truly amazing. So what does reflection means for you? Sometimes we just need to make sure that we take reflection in everything that we do, because then we can celebrate how our magnificence have been displayed. I want to say thank you to my beautiful sponsor, Jose Escobar. I'm going to play his video and then, are you ready? My guest will be here. Here we go.
Is Jose Escobar. I live in Washington, D.C. area. I'm a family man. I'm an entrepreneur, coach, author, and speaker. I have communities. I support people. I'm a servant leader, and the list goes on. And I'm primarily the CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. That's my bread and butter. That's my core offer, right? That's where I put most of my time and energy. And the Connected Leaders Academy is a growing community. It's a tribe of some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. We're now over 350 plus members, 42 states across the US, and 17 international countries. If you're an entrepreneur out there that's looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more money, more clients, right? This is the community for you.
And that is where I met beautiful Spencer. You are also part of the CLI, and I'm truly thankful for Jose for being the sponsor and also for meeting you. So my beautiful Spencer, if I can start, please introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and tell us what reflection means for you.
Thank you so much for asking. It's a pleasure being here. So I'm Spencer Jones, aka the Prince of Positivity, and I just love helping people step into their lights and shine, right? Ignite that inner fire and flame. And for me, a lot of that comes from reflection, right? We need to look back to a degree so we can learn and grow from it. Like, we've all lived lives, we've all had highs and lows and different things, and oftentimes we beat ourselves up with those lows, right? We blame ourselves. We have guilt and shame. And what would happen if we took those moments and looked for the lessons, looked for the gratitudes, the beautiful moments in there, kept those with us, and dissolve the rest, all the guilt, the shame, the stuff that weighs us down. And reflection is how I do that, and how I've been able to continue to shine my brightest.
Incredible. And you are one of those amazing, not gentlemen, you are a gentleman, but you've got an amazing wife that does a lot with you. You have started your business together. How does it make, in reflection, how do you feel about that?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life to a degree, on and off. I was a middle school, high school choir director for 9 years. And my wife, Katie, was a big supporter of all of my dreams ever since we met. And so from teaching, and she was a 4th and 5th grade elementary teacher, to her now retired from that and joining me full-time in the business. It's been truly amazing. As I reflect back, I couldn't have asked for anything better. It's so amazing to have her by my side, not only supporting me with it, but now even more hands-on, where she gets to know our Energizer family and community and connect with everyone. And she inspires more people than I do, right? She is so amazing, such a huge heart, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Wow, incredible. Thank you for sharing that, my beautiful Spencer. Donna, can you please introduce yourself, my beautiful lady?
Pleasure, and it's so great to be here, Sanet. You are doing amazing things, and it's so exciting to be a part of it. Oh my goodness. I'm Donna Metter, and I am a woman's dating coach. And think about reflections. How did I get here? Well, I was in my early 40s. I went out dating. I had no clue what I was doing. Read all the books. And then, because I wasn't getting the answers I wanted, I did research. I like to consider myself of having my doctorate in dating. 100%. I'm that girl. I earned my doctorate in dating, and I wrote a book in the process because I didn't know what I was doing, and I knew I couldn't be alone. It was through the process of going out dating and figuring things out that I met and married my late husband. So talk about reflections. So after he passed away and I started to get the feeling to maybe go out and date again, I read my own book, and then I met Mr. Wonderful number 2. It was through the adversity that I learned to set my dial to joy in the midst of that pain. And without realizing I was creating a community, I went online and started doing Facebook Lives at the time, and gathered people who were following the story, all before Mr. Wonderful number 2 came into the picture. So it's reflections are so valuable. And I'm always aware that I no longer live in the past. And the person I am today is not that person from 1 year ago, 4 years ago, whenever. So yeah, I'm a real advocate of that. You like that? Let me put on my, oh, yes, yes. I truly feel like I am a different person. And that's where the red came out. That after I became a widow and I looked in the mirror and I didn't know who I was. So I'm excited to share, and I would love to hear more and more people spread the word, is that I really love the person I am today. Maybe I didn't love the person I was when I was a teenager trying to figure out all that pain and all the stuff. But as we go through the adversity and we reflect, we have options to change.
Yes.
Right?
I loved it. I loved it. And that a few months ago, when I said to somebody, I'm truly privileged to be me, Sanet, she was very upset with me. And she said, you cannot boost. It's not nice. I said, no. I had to go through a lot of things to be the way I am. And I'm truly privileged to be me. And I totally understand what you said. But thank you so much, my beautiful Donna. Dr. Stan, you were like shouting out when, please introduce yourself and tell us what reflection means for you.
Hey, my name is Dr. Stan Harris. They call me Dr. Breakthrough, and I always give a disclaimer. I can't provide a breakthrough. I just prescribe the breakthrough. However, when people follow the breakthrough prescription, God Almighty provides a breakthrough they desire and deserve. And a breakthrough is exploding through barriers that at one time seemed insurmountable. And so as I reflect upon my past, I was that caterpillar, slow moving, that caterpillar, couldn't do much, couldn't move fast. And now, because of my breakthrough and my transformation, I now am a butterfly, and my message is to teach people your time as a caterpillar has expired and your wings are now ready. And so as I reflect also, I didn't like myself like many of you, and I didn't believe in myself. And the only thing I'm so grateful for being able to surround myself with people who saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. And I would give things a try just because they thought I couldn't. Now, I knew I couldn't, but I didn't want to let, make them feel bad. So I just want to give it a shot. And it shocked me every time when it worked. And then one day I was like, why don't I just start believing myself? And so I posted on Facebook the other day, I didn't used to like myself. And now I like being me so much. If I wasn't me, I'd want to be me. Come on now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Wait, Dr. Stan, here you go. Oh, I had to put it off. Wow, I love it. My beautiful Christine. First of all, I want to do a shout out to the lady that have put you on my directory. And beautiful Michelle have sent you an invite to be in the Diamond Beauties Forever. We had an incredible meeting. If this is your first time being on the Power Hour TV show, so I just wanted to say I am truly blessed to be able to meet you. And Michelle, I love that, Dana. Here is to you for introducing Christine to our group. It's now our group. My beautiful Christine, can you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and what does reflection means for you?
Thank you for having me, and thank you, Michelle, for inviting me. This has been an amazing experience getting to know Sanet. I am Christine Skiff. I am from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I live in a town called Denton, right between the two.
I'm in Denton.
No way!
Yes, way.
That is
Shady Shores. Shady Shores, right next to Denton. Right next to the corner. God. So we got to talk, sister. Yes. We got to talk.
Seriously, that is so cool. And of all the places,
and I have a daughter, Christina. She's a little more melanin than you have, but maybe some family.
I bet I would love to meet your daughter, and I'd love to meet you. This is so cool. I own Gift and Author Publishing. I am an accidental publisher. I did not start off life deciding to be a publisher. I was a writer. I had my goals set, and this is going to go right into reflections because I was already on my writing career, and I got married and had 5 children back to back, and they all had special needs. And so I spent the next 17 years taking care of my kids because working was no longer an option for me. Because my work was literally advocating for them, getting them their therapies, doing all the things you do when you have any parent would do, but it's just multiplied when you have ones with special needs. I got back into the world of writing and life had changed. Self-publishing was a thing. And I was like, when I left this, self-publishing was some weird guy in his basement, and now everyone's doing it. But I couldn't accept what I was finding online at that point. There was a lot of scams, a lot of people selling things to people that weren't real. So I developed my own team of people, and for my writing, so I'd have quality books. And eventually, about a year and a half later, after people had been coming to me and saying, "Hey, how did you do this? Who did this for you?" I realized I was publishing and wasn't getting paid for it. So that's the way God does things in your life. Sometimes you just end up where he wants you. And that for reflection for me is a lot about that. My life has been a kaleidoscope of my plans, and then God takes that and he turns it, and then I have a whole different landscape that I'm looking at, and I have to reflect on it and see the path that God has for me, not the one I laid out for myself. So reflection is about giving myself margin to actually reflect on what is going on in my life.
Incredible. Thank you, my beautiful Christine. We had an amazing coffee chat, and I would have loved to challenge all of you to have a coffee chat with each other because I know all of you, and all of you are incredible, incredible. Michelle, please tell us where you from. You are also one of my amazing Mrs. Spots, but we're going to talk about that. And tell us what reflection means for you.
Hello, everyone. And Sanet, thank you very much for having me here today. Very exciting. I am Michelle Jones, and I'm in the Kansas City, Kansas area. And reflection for me. When I was growing up, I was the daughter of a narcissistic mother and a codependent father. And so I learned that as love, and I didn't know, but I kept surrounding myself with people that were narcissistic in nature. And it wasn't until after I got divorced and became a single mom and lost my sister that I started looking at the people in my life and realizing that I wasn't surrounding myself with people that were necessarily good for me. I was really good at supporting them and being a source for them. But that reflection that I had to be able to look back at my life and realize that I could make better choices for myself helped me to realize I have decisions and choices for myself. And so reflection is really about self-choice, it's about growing yourself and putting yourself in a better position in life.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, my beautiful Michelle. I'm going to start off with you. What is your forever song?
My forever song is The River, but I also like Lainey Wilson's Wildflowers and Wild Horses because I'm an adventurist and I like to go out and dig my feet in and get going.
I think we actually have changed it to Wildflowers and Wild Horses.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. My beautiful Christine, what is your forever song?
Well, it changes from day to day, quite honestly. But right now, I'm really stuck on Laura Marling's "The Devil Spoke." So that is the one I'm stuck on right now.
Wow. Thank you. And Dr. Stan, what is your forever song?
Well, I just had to change it because somebody wrote a song for me, the Dr. Breakthrough song. So that is now my forever song.
Oh, Dr. Stan, you must please send it to me because I'm still dancing on your forever song and sending you kisses. So if you love to share with me, I will not share with anyone. I will just play it and then send you some kisses when I'm dancing on your song every 3 weeks. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I listen to it every day when I'm in the shower.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. And Donna doesn't have a forever song, ladies and gentlemen. She's the only, just give me 1 second, Donna. She's the only person that doesn't have a forever song. And she told me, Sanet, I cannot give you a forever song. She will tell you the reason why. But before she does, I want to ask Spencer. Spencer, what is your forever song?
Oh my gosh. Like Christine, it probably changes daily, but I think the one that it's been most is a Peter Frampton song now, Shine On.
Okay. So I will have to change that because at the moment I'm still doing your orchestra that you have done conduct for your children at your school. So please send me the new link so that I can replace it so that whenever that song comes up, I can send you kisses from wherever I am in the world. So thank you, Spencer. So my beautiful Donna, tell us about your forever song.
I forgot to tell everybody I'm from Arizona in the US of A. So here I am. But my forever song, there's too many. I love them all the good, happy stuff. I whistle, I tune, I make up songs. So I could never give Sanet a forever song because I make up songs. I whistle, I go along, right? But I will tell you, Sanet, Jeffrey, Mr. Wonderful number 2, wrote me a song, and it's called Donna's Song. I never told you that. I never stopped to think to tell you that. There's no words yet, but he made it public when he officiated our friend's wedding in June, and she walked down the aisle to it. I cry when I think about it. I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when it's ready, please share with me because then I will just play it on my list and I will send you some love and kisses. So
Okay.
my beautiful guests, are you ready for your second question? We're going to start off with Spencer and go the round that we did. Let me just see where I've put the question. What key moment in your life have changed the way you see yourself? So
Oh man.
Spencer,
Wow.
Okay, key moment. So we have like 2, 3 days, right? I could share. We can make it longer like that.
Right.
So I as well skipped about where I live. So I'm in Wisconsin in the United States as well. And I'm thinking of the time that changed how I perceived myself. I reflect on myself, and that, I'm going to say that was when I hit my rock bottom, and probably similar for many of us in our own ways. Because when I hit my rock bottom, I was suicidal. I didn't know who I was. I was people pleasing so much that I lost who was Spencer, right? And who's this person? And so I had to, first of all, learn to love me. And that's a whole journey in of itself. Learn to love me for me, wholly, truly, authentically, all of those things. But also learn who I am. What do I like? Like, do I like chocolate cake? Do I not? Do I like this TV show? Do I not? I don't know. And it was a beautiful journey of discovery and how to love me. And so I went from hating myself, as at that point I hated who I became and who I was, to now fully loving myself. But I wouldn't be where I'm at, or I wouldn't love me for me if it wasn't for that rock bottom moment, at least for me. So as hard as it was, I'm grateful for that moment because I'm me because of it, or I see myself differently and I love me for me because of it.
and I'm truly so thankful it happened, because now I can see you. I see you in your full gloriness, your full greatness. So thank you, my beautiful Spencer. Donna?
Wow. I've had so many, like everybody here. The people watching, we've had so many pivotal moments. Obviously, when my late husband passed away, that propelled me into a direction. And I always say, adversity will get you where you want to go if you allow it. It brings us to places we probably wouldn't think about. And this is how I started talking in the obsession of helping single soul searching women who are looking for love over 40. This is what made me obsessed. I became obsessed with helping these women understand their self-respect as they went through life. I will tell you, and I have to give a shout out to energy work and NLP and cranial sacral. I most recently, just a couple of weeks ago, went and did a cranial sacral session here in Arizona. It was an hour and a half long. And I won't get into details. We don't have time for that. But I will tell you that I experienced something that I never would have guessed. And it all came down that my memory of when I was 4 years old on the gurney being wheeled into the hospital room to get my tonsils out put me in a certain state. And he, through this cranial sacral session, was able to release that out of my cells, because our body has memories. And from that moment forward, when Jeff and I went to lunch afterwards, I was speaking in a way about myself that I had never heard before. Like, hey, maybe one day we'll buy that mansion and that's where we'll have our couples retreat. And hey, wow. So I released this monetary block from this childhood memory that took place when I was 4, that I would have never thought that was trauma. And now I'm envisioning bigger and just more ways to help people. And there's no cap on that vision. So I really, I'm a big, huge, I know. Yeah. So I'm so blessed to have that, and all from the journey on the gurney, gang.
Wow, incredible. Thank you, my beautiful Donna. Dr. Stan?
Wow, I just thought about 30 of them. But let me try to tie 2 in real quick. But I think when I unfortunately used to travel 320 days a year, living off about 3.5 hours sleep a night, thinking that I was going to save the world overnight, as I grew up hearing that black men are lazy and preachers are lazy. I'm like, well, I'm black and I'm a preacher, so I got to prove I'm not lazy. And so when you're trying to prove something, you're not really living the full authentic self, and you're not really hearing the voice of God. And so, again, 320 days a year. And then my poor wife at the time, I drug her with me because I was like, look, if I don't want my home to mess up like everybody else's. And so we didn't homeschool, we road schooled, and we had 4 children. And again, living off 3.5 hours sleep because I had to make sure I spent time with my wife and with the children and everything. And my wife kept trying to say, you need to relax, you need to get some rest. I was like, look, by the time I do everything I need to do, there's no time. And so I got to give up on my sleep. Well, after about 18 years of that, it finally caught up with me. I'm amazed I even lasted that long. And I collapsed, woke up with a doctor looking at me, didn't know where I was, if I was, who I was. But that helped me to pull the veneer back of the performance-based type of Christianity. And a lot of men, and I think some women too, who grow up without a father and wanting to try to win the approval of their father, we become this type A driven type personality, right? And anyway, and so that I hadn't had a vacation in 18 years because somebody that was older and wiser said they hadn't had a vacation. And I thought, man, I don't need one. And anyway, I crashed and burned. And make a long story short, we take about 2 or 3 vacations a year now. And my life has totally changed. And now I realize I'm loved of God. There's not a million sins nor a million acts of righteousness that could change his love for me. And that I don't have to do anything to be accepted in the eyes of man because I'm already accepted in the beloved. And so that was a change. But I got to throw in also, and like I said, went through terrible, just whole life was destroyed, and God kind of put it back together. And so one of the things I teach people, even with this ball, is like, be like the ball that when you go down, you just bounce back up, right? You go down, you bounce back up, and after a while, you even start to shine a little bit. And so remarried Nadia, who she has 4 children, I have 4, so now we have 8. But never thought I could have what I'd had before. And long and behold, man, God shocked me and gave me just, oh my goodness, beyond amazing. And I'll never forget, we got married and she started calling me her king. Of course, I call her my ABCD, my adorable brown caramel delight. We went out to eat the other day and the guy said, you want some dessert? And I pointed to my wife. I said, I bought my dessert with me, 100% natural. But anyway, she started calling me her king. And I was like, baby, I appreciate that. But that just makes me feel uneasy because I was just kind of like, I don't think I quite match up to that. She just kept saying, you're my king, you're my king. And then one day I started calling her my queen. So I guess she figured out, look, if he don't know who he is, I know who I am. And, but anyway, but again, God just gave me just the most beautiful gift, not just outside, but a woman inside. And I told her, I said, a lot of people think I've accomplished a lot of things. And to work with you, I feel accepted just the way I am. But there's something that says, but I can be more and do more without you even saying anything. It's just your essence. And anyway, and so we're complete. She matches me completely. I'm always like, I'm like the kite all over the place. She's like the string. Hey, big boy, just come on down. He's like, hey, baby, just breathe, baby. Just breathe. And so it's kind of a long answer, but anyway.
I love it. I love it. And my beautiful Dr. Stan and Dana, you guys need to get on a Zoom with your partners because both of your partners are truly amazing. And I will not say I don't know, totally opposite, but definitely you complete each other. And I know that's not the right thing. If we go back to Donna, you don't need anybody. You have to be a whole person before, getting married or putting somebody in your life, getting somebody in your life. So thank you for that, my beautiful Dr. Stan. You are amazing. Christine, and for you?
So, first of all, I connect to so much of what everyone is saying. I think my pivotal point, there's many of them, but when we had gone through many years of our children being diagnosed with autism, and then my husband was diagnosed, we found out my husband was on the spectrum through that. Then he was diagnosed with MS and bipolar, and it was just like one diagnosis after another. And my youngest I kept telling the doctors, there's something going on. It's not autism. It's not autism. And he, at 11 years old, was put in a mental health facility. And I remember we had been at the doctor's. His psychiatrist was at his office was at Cook's Children's in Fort Worth at the hospital, and he called security. And I remember these two football guys and my little 11-year-old in between them, walking him across into this facility. And I'm like, God, what's going on? And make a very long story short, after many doctors and many times of diagnosis, the doctors all agreed that he was on the schizophrenic scale. It's not something they normally diagnose that young. But so they call it schizoaffective disorder. And when the pediatric neurologist was telling me this, I was just sitting there talking to her like I'm talking to you. And all of a sudden I felt something wet on my hand, and I looked down and I realized I had been weeping and didn't even know it because I had disconnected from myself so completely. I just kept pushing, and two of my friends, and this is where you have good friends, kidnapped me and brought me to dinner. And they sat me down and they said, Christine, you are not okay. You are not okay. And my friend Donna, my late friend, she passed during COVID. She looked at me and she said, I have found a psychiatrist who is in families with special needs kids and our counselor, and I am sending you there on Monday. I made the appointment for you because I know you would just forget. And that is a friend. And my two friends drove me home. The next day was Monday. I went to my counselor's appointment, and she looked at me and she said, if you do not change the way you are living, no one can live under this much stress. If you do not change the way you're living, you will be dead in 10 years. She said, you cannot continue to live this way. The level of PTSD that your life is a consistent, unless you have this kind of a thing, you don't understand what it is to be on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was like living in a mental facility at my house. It was a constant, like, who was going to end up inpatient next? Who was going to get, who was going to be in the hospital next? There was never a break. And she said, you are so disconnected, you don't even know you're stressed. You've sat here in this past 5 minutes, you have sighed 15 times. I have counted them. You are grinding your teeth, and you don't know any of this. And she took me through a process of reconnecting with my body to even know I was stressed. She said every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes, she went up to 30 finally, you need to say, am I clenching my teeth? Am I sighing? Is my stomach in knots? And then you need to do deep breathing exercises if any of those are true. And I reconnected, and the psychiatrist, she said, Christine, you have to have something that's for you. You have to have something that's just yours. Everything you do is for your family. Everything you do is, I was also a women's minister, and I was running 1,000-person Facebook group for survivors of sexual assault. I was constantly going. You need something that's for you. And so that's when I started writing. I wrote my first book. Everyone who had read my blog was expecting they wanted me to write something about autism or mental health or the crazy stories that we have. And instead, I wrote a psychological thriller. And everybody's they're like, what? And I'm like, I live my life every day. I wanted a break. And I reconnected with myself, and I was able, the person who was built back, like people talk about the Chinese, the Japanese pottery and the gold that connects it and all that. That wasn't me. I was dust. There was nothing to put back together. And the person that came back from that, the person that I, with the grace of God and energy work and all the things, the person that came back from that is a woman that I love, is a woman that I like, is a woman that has endured, who is resilient, and by the grace of God, great things are in my life. And I want that for your listeners, because if it can happen for me, it can happen for anyone.
Wow. Incredible. Thank you for sharing. You are incredible. Thank you. My beautiful Michelle, and for you?
My pivotal moment in my life had to be my sister's death. My sister's death changed my life in many ways because she was my only sibling. She was my best friend. She was my confidant. And so when you have a sister, and you grow up together, we did everything together. And after I lost her, she was also the glue that held our family together. So there was nothing more to protect me from being the only source for my narcissistic mother. And it just led to this snowball effect of things that happened in my life. I lost my job. I lost my home. I, had to move into a place with my kids that was not where I wanted to be, whatever. And in doing all of that, Christine, I agree. I think I became dust. I think I became so broken and so lost that I didn't think there was a way out. I think that my kids didn't recognize me anymore. I didn't even recognize me. I looked in the mirror and wondered where I went and why I couldn't find myself anymore and who the heck I was. And I got to a place where I said, this kid has to change. My kids are suffering. I'm suffering. And looking back now, I can truly say that I am someone now that I love, that I actually can look in the mirror and admire and respect and say, I'm proud of that young lady. She's gone through a lot of stuff, and here she is. She's still standing here, made it 100% through my adversity so far. And if I can be an example for anyone else to help them in their story, I want to be the one to say, if I can make it, you can make it.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved it. Thank you, my beautiful Michelle. So my beautiful guest, the next question is a two-part question. How do you bring a reflection in your daily life? And if there's an advice that you can bestow on the viewers out there. So my beautiful Spencer, are you I know you're the first one, so you don't have time to reflect on my question. but
He's the Prince of Positivity. He doesn't need any time.
Exactly.
It'll just ooze out of him.
Right. I'm just hoping the spirit just flows, or whatever you want to call it, right? Earth, wind, fire, God, doesn't matter. It'll say something, and who knows if I'll remember what I even said. But let's see. Reflection in daily life. I really try to make it a habit to reflect. For me, I start the morning off with journaling. So I journal every morning. I write down, I usually reflect on the last day, or what am I feeling in that moment, and planning for the day, so I can prep myself. I also do gratitudes and affirmations, and I work out, etc. But then as I go throughout the day, I take little moments, and I used to have to set up reminders on my phone just to take 60 seconds, 2 minutes, and just quick reflect and say, how was it going? Was I clenching my teeth? Was I stressed? Was I obsessed with this one thing that I don't need to be, or do I need to refocus? And just as a quick little check-in with myself. And so setting up those reminders have helped me make it a habit to do it throughout the day. Morning time is my big time, and obviously evening for me is big, and for a lot of us as well. I would imagine you reflect on the day. What were 2 amazing things that happened that day, right? Let's talk positives, right? What were the amazing gratitudes, the beautiful things you saw and witnessed? But with that, make sure that you celebrate those wins. When you reflect and you're like, oh, this went really well. Well, first of all, recognize it went really well, and then celebrate them. Maybe you're like me, who sucks at celebrating, and I need to be reminded to celebrate. And you're like, okay, let me celebrate. Maybe that's a pat on the back. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's who knows what, right? It could be food. It could be anything. But pick something that really works for you and celebrate that. And then for the moments that you're like, I wish I did better with that. Cool. Now you know. Don't beat yourself up over it. Celebrate the fact that you know that. Learn from it. Take that learning, that growth, like I talked about at the very beginning, take that learning and growth and release everything else, because that's only holding you back. So take that beauty, that love, that light, that joy, those positives, and release all those negatives.
Are you ready, Spencer? Wow, my beautiful Donna.
Ooh, it's my turn again. Okay, so I am loving getting to know each of you, and we all have a story. And the fact that we're here because we want our listeners to accomplish what we know they can, right? When Pietro passed away, there's two things that happens to a widow from what I have learned through these last 7 years. For me, I shut down. Everything shut down. My body shut down. My heart. If somebody said, "Are you depressed?" I would be like, "Hello, I just buried my husband. I'm okay with being depressed right now. Okay." And I didn't want intimacy. I wasn't looking to go out and date. Everything was numb. And somebody came to me and said to me, "Honey, your only job this year is to feel better by doing whatever it is you're going to do. And if you don't feel better, then don't do it." And that made such sense to me. And 7 years later, I still abide by that rule. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. If I want to take a nap and it feels good to take a nap, I take a nap. If I'm going to get up and record a video because I feel good about doing that, I record a video. I do not do anything, and that includes, and my husband knows this, my now husband, my late husband never got to figure that out. If it doesn't feel right, it's not. And I am blessed to be able to pass along these little points of wisdom to my bonus kids. I don't have children of my own. And now I'm a mother of 3, 2 are married, and I've got, 7 or 8 bonus grandkids. And so I'm passing along the message to the point where if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. And I share that with them. And so that is what my point of reflection. I do that every day, all the time, because Sanet, if you ask me a question, can I do this or do I go here? And if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. It just isn't. And my husband, who used to be a youth pastor, says he was taught from a very young age, always listen to your wife. Always listen to your wife, because we have a sense that if it doesn't, feel right, if we know, I don't think you ought to make a right there, or you shouldn't buy that car doesn't feel right to me. He knows we have a sense that they don't necessarily have. So he listens to, when I feel something, he listens. So yeah, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right.
I love it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Thank you, my beautiful daughter. Oh, I love it. Dr. Stan?
Hey, I wanted you to call on me because when she talked about listen to your wife, I actually preached a sermon one time. Now listen to the full title. Listen to your wife. Just don't do everything she says. Because when she's on, she's on. But when she's off bad. If you don't believe me, ask Adam. It's like, Adam, don't listen. Don't eat that fruit. Oh, anyway. But then you find that Naboth should have listened to Abigail. But yes, you're right. But yes, women have that. And especially in business, when my wife has said, baby, there's something that just doesn't feel right. And a lot of times we men, it's like, okay, but tell me like why. I can't explain why. Well, I've learned to say, I don't need an explanation. We just going to leave that alone, right? And maybe the timing is just not right, right? But I've lost millions of dollars and not listening. But the thing is, as long as we take in and consider. So one of the things for me for reflection is this, and that is I take time every day and I reflect. And matter of fact, when I wake up, the first thing I do is I thank God for, I found out there's approximately 150,000 people that from 24 hours ago that don't wake up. And so like as of this morning, I was like, Lord, thank you. This is my 23,303rd day on your wake up list. See, we go to sleep, but God wakes us up. Some people think the alarm clock wakes you up. No, if God doesn't touch you, you won't wake up. Matter of fact, one of my best friends, one of his other best friends, 39 years of age, just passed away. Think about this. Went to sleep healthy, been making a difference in the world, a positive, upbeat gentleman, and woke up brain dead. And so when you think about that, he had about 14,235 days on this earth. Now, my beautiful, brilliant mom only had 18,065 days on this earth. And who am I that I've already had over 23,000, right? But a couple of years ago, I almost passed away with COVID. And so then I started reflecting on and being thankful for my breath. You know, in the greatest book ever written, the Lord says, give us this day our daily bread. Well, I found out the average person has about 20,000 breaths. So I said, Lord, give me this day my daily 20,000 breaths. So as of today, I've had 465 million. Again, every morning I wake up and thank God and meditate for a moment on this. 465,700,000 approximate free breaths. And here's the best part. The government hadn't figured out how to tax me on it yet. But anyway, but again, puts me in a state of gratitude and gratefulness. And of course, we're talking about reflection, but want to put gratitude in here. When you put two words together, great plus attitude equals gratitude, and gratitude is a magnet that attracts miracles. And so, just to those who are listening, reflection, be sure to reflect on things that are positive and reflect on things that you learned a lesson from, because too many people, they reflect upon the quote unquote losses, the things that, make them feel down and discouraged and depressed. And it's like somebody said when driving, you don't drive looking out the rearview mirror, you're going to crash. So you drive looking out the big windshield, right? And so as we're talking about reflection, just know we're talking about you spend a little bit of time reflection, but you got to reflect on the things that will empower you. And I'm going to give you a thought. B.F. Skinner was a great psychologist, but he was wrong on this one point. He said that we're a product of our environment. Unfortunately, I used to be a product of my environment. And then I learned to become a product of my empowerment. And so you can reflect on things that will empower you instead of just being a product of your environment, all the things that are around you, but you can reflect on things that will empower you. And now the environment of your mind is an empowering situation that empowers you to go further than ever before. So those of you out there listening and watching, we believe in you, and this is for you. And so God bless you. Reflect, but reflect on the things that will empower you and the things that will spur you on even further.
Wow, incredible. Yes to you, Dr. Stan. Christine?
Well, Dr. Stan, that's not fair. I come after you. Preach, my goodness. So I am just going to, in a very inadequate way, try to follow that with, it's all about.
Remember, we all flow together. We're a team. Right?
That's right. I agree.
And let me just real quick throw this out to you. There's somebody out there that it doesn't matter what any of us say. Christina, is when you speak that it hits them.
Yes. Amen.
Because there's something about your voice. They've been tuned in. Your voice has been assigned to them. Mm-hmm. So they really can't even hear us. But when you speak, they hear. So speak to those people.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Stan. So for me, I'm going to kind of pivot off of what Dr. Stan was saying. My reflections every day, I have learned it's about mindset and gratitude and being thankful. There's a thing that happens when you suffer early childhood trauma, which I did. It changes the way that you view the world. Because you're still developing your personality, you're still developing within who you are, all those things, and you're doing it in the midst of trauma. It changes the very fundamentals of your personality and who you are. And one of the ways it changed it for me was it was very hard for me to trust anyone other than myself. And it was very hard for me to see the positives because I was always so wary of what was going to be, what danger was coming at me. I was super hyper vigilant. And part of that process of coming back to myself and rebuilding was learning to look at the positives and to embrace the positives and to know that the negatives that happen in life, those fires that forge us, the things we walk through that nobody else can understand because we've had to go through them, those are the things that when we come out on the other side, we become. And who I have become through those fires. See, a lot of people say they say what I went through made me stronger. And I don't like that because it gives the power to the negative things that happen in your life. The power belongs with you. God, the universe, whatever you believe in, that power is within you already. And when you tap into that, you become, you grow. The things that happen to you, that are surrounded you, they have no power over you anymore. And that is what I focus on. I want to become.
I love it. Beautiful, becoming. My beautiful Michelle, we've got actually 1 minute. Can you give us your answer in 1 minute? So sorry.
Absolutely. For me to be mindful for myself, I love oracle cards and I love to read my oracle cards. I get back into nature. I tune in and I take my animals with me. My dogs go with me practically everywhere I am, and they keep me balanced and centered.
I love that. Thank you, my beautiful Michelle. Wow, what an amazing show, my viewers and the Diamond Beauties and Tanzanite Heroes. I hope that you have got some answers for you and that some of us have left a sparkle in your life. That's my question every night to Sanet. Sanet, did you leave your sparkle in somebody's heart and memory? And I can do yes, an astounding yes, I did. So, my beautiful guests, will you have a dance with me?
Yes.
My beautiful viewers, will you have a dance with us? Oh, they said yes. They said yes. Here we go. Oh, it's raining. Go Spencer, go Donna.
Dancing in the
Dr.
rain,
Stan,
sprinkle
so
me
good
with
to see you.
fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun, sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover me with love. From butterflies to eagles, oh, there's magic in that flight. Sprinkle me with fairy dust, watch me take to
Bye-bye,
the
everyone.
sky.